everybody. This is Kelly Jackson with TruthWire News. I am coming to you once again today with yet another amazing candidate that is going to be on the ballot, or has actually been on the ballot now since early voting started. He is the SEC, that is the State Executive Committee for the Tennessee State GOP, Committeeman Brad Lytle, and he represents District 17, y'all up there in Wilson County. Beautiful Wilson County. I love Wilson County, as we are just neighbors south here in Williamson. And I wanted to get him in here and discuss his run for re-election for his seat, the importance of getting really, truly solid, principled conservatives in those seats or to remain in those seats. So, Brad, thank you so much for being with me today. I really appreciate your presence.
My pleasure. Been watching you for a long time. You do a great job.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. So for those that are, and I went over this with Chris too, for those that are not really aware of what the SEC does, I mean, people tend to not really consider it as very important when in reality, it's extremely important. So why don't you sort of express, why that is true?
Well, first, let me say why I think it's extremely important. We are what's known as a supermajority state. So we have a Republican governor, Republican Senate, and a Republican House. So we are essentially a Republican state. Therefore, the State Executive Committee, which is the governing body for the Tennessee Republican Party, charged with all kinds of things, including oversight, and finding good candidates, becomes doubly important because of that supermajority we have. So that's why we exist, and that's why I think some people. I don't mean power. We don't have the power, but we make the rules, and I think people are jealous of that, and they want to take it away from us.
Yeah. I would say, what I've seen over the last, probably the last couple maybe of election cycles, but in particular, I guess since 22, I have seen an influx of the more grassroots populist conservatives being elected to the SEC. And I think you're seeing the establishment Republicans in the state get very nervous about that. They don't like it. It sort of lessens their connection to the body, where then they would have influence over those who are making decisions about things like what happened with our reorganization in Williamson County last year, where they filed a complaint. The opposing slate that lost filed a complaint and decided, well, we want to have a do-over. And so that goes to individuals such as yourself. You all as a body make a determination whether or not it's a legitimate request. And of course, you decided it was not a legitimate request.
We listened to that request and considered the facts. I believe there were 9 SEC members, or 7 or 9 SEC members that were there judging the event anyway. So I think it was unprecedented, their request for a do-over, but it was unanimously rejected.
Yes. And so when things like that happen and they're not used to getting their way, where they had gotten their way for like the last 25 years solid, it's a little upsetting for them. So then what they do is they go after people like yourself who are solidly grassroots, principled conservative. So why do you think—
I like to think I am.
Yes, you are. I can vouch for you. Why do you
come from a good Tea Party stock?
Yes. Why do you think that the grassroots conservatives suddenly are under attack? I mean, across Tennessee, we've seen this coordinated challenge to replace conservative SEC members. So from your perspective, what do you think is driving these challenges, and what do you believe is really at stake for the future of the Tennessee Republican Party, should they be successful?
Well, I mentioned the Tea Party, and I think that the Tea Party kind of started it. It was the pushback. It was the pushback against our elected officials acting like we didn't exist.
They flipped the state 20-ish years ago. They turned our state red. And I think that that is a bit of a crux. That is sort of the crux of the issue now, is they see us as, instead of trying to work with the grassroots, these same people who flipped the state red 20-ish years ago are really more concerned with territory and power. And so while they did us a service by flipping Tennessee red, now they've sort of just morphed into something that probably they were fighting against, which is an establishment entrenched machine. And so
I think 2008 and Barack Obama did more to switch the state than anything else.
it's very possible. Yeah, it's very possible. Yeah. People got tired of that, but the Tea Party did a service. However, the problem is that they got very comfortable, and they got a lot of power and influence. And now with people such as yourself, I know I'm a blue state refugee. I came here before the nonsense, and you came here in what year? You said
2018.
2018. So you came here right before the nonsense started. And it's people like us who understand where if you let feckless, greedy, squishy Republicans go on too long.
Exactly. I came here and I told somebody today, I felt like Paul Revere.
Yeah.
I came here and I said, this is what could happen. This is what could happen.
Yep.
The Democrats are coming.
Yes.
And nobody listened to me. 4 years ago, I'm also the chairman of the Republican Party here in Wilson County. 4 years ago, we had one Democrat running for the Lebanon Special School District. And that was it.
Yeah.
This year, we have 40 plus Democrats running.
Yes. Yes.
And I told them this is what's going to happen. And we were targeted, and paid professionals came in here and showed people what to do. Now, I don't think they have very good candidates, and they may not win anything. Right. I hope they don't.
Yeah.
But they're here and they're trying.
Yeah.
And when they lose all these elections, most of them, they're going to come back again the following election, and they won't stop.
Yes. They're relentless. And what we've seen here in Williamson County is similar. We have a newly elected Democrat Party chair here in Williamson County. And from what I understand, she is not interested in hooking up with the establishment Republicans here and being the lesser, just basically utilizing the power that the establishment lends to the Democrats. She is more interested in revitalizing a Democrat Party. And so we've had more Democrats on a ballot this election than we have in, I don't even know, since I've been here. We never had Democrats on a ballot. Now we do. She understands if you don't put Democrats on the ballot, they're not going to show up to vote. And she's a purist. She actually, from what I understand, discourages crossover voting in the primaries. So they're very focused, and you are absolutely correct. They are biding their time. They're playing the long game. And you and I both know that given enough time and enough opportunity, and of course they're very moneyed, Democrats always have money, they will eventually be successful. Because
I believe that, this is their religion.
Yes. I agree.
I tithe to my church, and I give to other charities, and I don't even know why political parties, these NGOs and everything, they're tax deductible, but it goes right into the Democrat coffers. And that's why they have so much money. And what we found out recently from like Minnesota is the fraud and graft is going on unbelievably.
So you would then, so the implications of losing someone like you and several someones like you, what do you see happening if that should happen to the state?
Well, I think there's on the SEC, there's a lot of good representatives on the SEC. I don't know what the split is, maybe half grassroots conservatives. There are some who argue against some things, but closed primaries, we had almost a unanimous feeling about closing the primaries. It's ridiculous that you allow Democrats to come into our primaries and elect our representatives. And we've for 5 years, we tried to get the legislature to change that, and it never got out of committee. 4 times that it got in, bills were introduced, but they never made it out of committee. And every year we were promised, this might go somewhere, this might go someplace.
Yeah.
And when it didn't, we made our thoughts known, because the people that we report to, which is the grassroots and the voters in Wilson County for myself, they want to know, well, where did this go? And we tell them exactly what happened. And I don't think they like that. A lot of legislators, I've heard from a couple, but I'm told a lot of legislators do not want to lose the Democrats in their districts, because they know they would not get elected.
Yes.
So what does that tell you about primaries?
That's right. Absolutely. In fact, Florida has actually had closed primaries since 1913.
And look what's happening there.
Well, but it's been closed since, so you would think that would have kept, because it was a swing state for so many years. But until they put what they call close of books language in that law, and that was under Governor Rick Scott, and I think it was somewhere around 2010, 2012, somewhere in there. Since they put that close of books language, which basically means you cannot change your affiliation after this day, this long before election day. So say it's 60 days. You cannot change your affiliation 60 days, within 60 days before election day. Once they did that, the state just kept getting more and more and more conservative, to the point now where it's a red state. You couldn't, I don't think, see a Jeb Bush get elected in Florida now. I don't think. I think it's too conservative for someone like him to be elected again. So we would need to not just close the primaries, but make sure that we had close of books language in the law. But I think what some people have argued is that the SEC being a private party, Scott Golden could just say, hey, we're closing the primaries. And then what would happen from there is the state would step in.
I'm not sure what you mean, close the primaries.
Close them. He could just say, well, we're having closed primaries. He could just declare the primaries closed.
I don't know. I don't know why we're on the ballot at all. I don't understand it. We are a private club. The courts have already ruled that the government can't get involved in our club. Unless we're breaking the law or something.
Yeah, you think that it would be.
We shouldn't even be on the ballot.
Just a statewide convention that would elect, and
something.
make it. But you are. So what I'm saying is that in order for him to, because it's a private group, he would have the power to close them. The state would come in and say, we have legislation that basically determines whether or not the primaries are opened or closed. And it would be at that point that the SEC would sue the state for closing. Ken Paxton is doing it in Texas right now. He is suing his own state to close the primaries because the state doesn't have the authority to keep them open. The Supreme Court has said so time and time and time again. So would you say, and from what I understand, and when I interviewed Chris even said, I would absolutely support that endeavor if Scott decided to do that.
I would support that, but I don't think the votes are there to carry it.
Yeah, that's the unfortunate part. That means our job isn't done. That means we need to keep electing people like you into the SEC, which is why it's so important for you to keep your seat.
And thank you. Which brings us back to why they're after us anyway.
That's right. So why don't you speak on that to the degree that you're comfortable, and tell me why you feel specifically you're being targeted and who you think possibly could be behind that.
Well, I think there's several people that could be behind it. I do know that my opponent has been funded very well by a couple organizations, and one of them is the Tennessee First Action, which I believe you wrote about.
Yes, I did. And I'm going to have some news on that later today.
That'd be great.
I got some more information that I think will be very interesting for people.
Running for an SEC is really like we don't get paid anything.
Yeah.
There's no glory or accolades from anybody, so it's really and I don't mean this self-serving, but it's really a duty.
Yes.
People do it because they feel duty bound for the most part.
Yeah.
Sometimes the races for SEC have been unchallenged.
Yeah.
Because people don't want to do it. You have to spend your own money to get there.
Right.
You have to spend your own money to travel back and forth to the meetings.
Right. That's right.
You have to spend your own time. So it's I look at it as a service.
Yeah.
But you get PACs like this coming along, and my opponent in this race has been given $1,000. They've spent $1,500 on Facebook ads.
Yeah, and that was on this Tennessee First Action.
That was the first.
The mystery PACs that we're going to be we're going to be revealing this. I'm going to be revealing that in the next day or so.
I understand that was the first pass.
Yeah.
And now they're getting ready to do the second pass. Well, myself as an individual, I tried to figure out how to get on Facebook and do ads, and I used to be able to do it very well. In 2016, I think Trump was elected because Facebook allowed the Tea Party movement to get on there and use it.
Yeah,
and we did it. But now they've shadow banned us so bad, and they block all of our ads. I've got 55 ads that have been rejected by them. So I'm on their hit list. So I don't know how to do all this. Yeah. I wouldn't know how to put $1,500 worth of Facebook ads up.
Well, I can help you with. I have somebody that could help you with that if you're interested. But
I am interested because I think it's still a good way to reach us older people.
Yeah,
I understand the younger people don't use Facebook because we're on.
So what other legislators has he gotten money from? Now, what is his name? It's Derek.
I never say it. I have an opponent.
Okay. Well, I've been using the name.
Well, you can use it
just for information. I have to look it up because I know I sent him a message via Facebook to ask him about who this Tennessee Freedom blah blah is. And let me see if I can find that. Derek Truelove, which is really it's an ironic last name. He is the person that they are supporting to oust you from your seat.
Yes. He's good friends with a local representative. So there are 3, this is his second quarter
report,
financial disclosure.
Mm-hmm.
And on there, you can look at mine too. They're public information.
Yep.
There are no PACs on there.
Right.
There are no large donations from people outside of Wilson County.
Okay. Local donors.
Local donors. There's one local donor on here. There's a PAC that's, I don't know if William Lamberth is in charge of the PAC, but it's the Lamberth PAC is on there. Kip Capley is on there.
Yeah.
And there's another PAC on here that sounds an awful lot like Grills. Rusty Grills.
It looks like it was the G PAC, and it's looks
like the G PAC. Yes.
There's a female name, and the last name is Grills, who is the treasurer, I guess, of that.
So PAC. I don't know if that's related or not, but it looks like these are all people outside of Wilson County.
Yeah.
That have been somehow thought that their money should go to somebody in Wilson County.
Yeah.
For what reason?
Yeah.
I don't know. Why? How do their residents benefit by attacking or supporting somebody in Wilson County?
Right. Right.
And would they like us to come over to their counties?
I doubt it. In fact, I'm sure that they wouldn't. But usually I find that they're doing it for one of two reasons, either for revenge or retribution for something, some slight, some sin that you've committed, or just the power, just to keep the power, to shift the balance of power in their favor, because they might see, I don't know what kind of changes are going to be coming up in the SEC, but they might, maybe they're trying to send some kind of message, who knows, but I find that there's always some nefarious purpose.
I think they want to get rid of our county conventions. I think they want to be able to put it on the ballot and let anybody vote for who the chairman of the party is, who the vice chair, the secretary, the treasurer of the local parties
is. So
they take over the state, then they'll take over the state party and the local parties, and there won't be anybody to push back on them.
Right. Exactly. Because, heaven knows you can't have the people actually having a voice or an opinion in a republic.
Buckley said once, William F. Buckley said he'd take the Boston phone book and pick the first, how many people? 535 people is at the Senate and the House.
Yeah.
And the first ones from the phone book, and they could do a better job than the ones that are up there.
Yeah. I think I would agree with that.
The people.
So I guess my big question for you would be, why should the Republican primary voters, first of all, go all the way to the bottom of the ballot and check the box? But what would your pitch be to them about why they should trust you with another term in the SEC? What's the importance of you staying exactly where you are?
I'm a conservative. I believe in faith, family, and freedom. I believe that my oath to the Constitution is sacred. Mm-hmm. That I won't do anything that would be in violation of any of those.
Yeah. Ethical.
For any reason or money or anything.
Yeah.
I don't have money from PACs.
Yeah.
As my opponent does, and outside influence.
Yeah. So you answer to the people and not the people who write you checks, basically.
Yes.
Yeah.
And there aren't that many that do that.
No, that's true.
I was self-funded up until my opponent started. Sorry about that shaking camera there. Up until the point when my opponent started robo-texting and robo-calling.
Yeah.
And then I realized that I needed to have some kind of answer for it. Yeah. So a couple people have donated to me.
That's good. That's great. Well, just so that people know where to find you and where to donate to you, do you have a place where they can get a hold of you and send you a donation if they want to support you? Where would they find you?
BradLytle.com.
Okay. And that's all. There's a donate button there. And
there is.
Yeah. Is there anything else that you want to really convey to people that you feel is important that they know while we have the opportunity right here, and you can just say whatever it is that you feel like you need to say?
Just that it's important. Like most of your listeners, I was committed to my work, my family, my career. As a conservative, I didn't get in people's business.
Yeah.
I didn't think it was important that my opinion was proclaimed in the public square. But other people thought it was their job to do that. And they're not the ones with the values and principles that I have. Or basically, you can see what happened to New York State.
Yeah.
Which is where I came from.
Oh, absolutely.
New York State, I came from upstate New York, a beautiful place. I was a village manager there. I had a great life. And Albany just kept encroaching, taking our gun rights away, taking our freedoms away. Yeah. And that could that's going to happen here unless people wake up.
That's right.
Most of the people I've met here are great people.
Yeah.
Even the Democrats that were here, they're more conservative than the ones. This is a different brand of Democrat.
Oh, yeah.
My father was a union president. We grew up in a union household.
Oh, yeah.
It was a party for the little guys.
Yeah.
It's not that party anymore.
No.
The Republican Party has taken that place.
Yeah. I've told this story many times to people, but my grandmother was a JFK Democrat my whole life. So I grew up with a photo, like a watercolor artist's rendering of profiles of Jack and Bobby Kennedy. And then somewhere around 1994, my grandma was in her 70s, And she looked around at the Democrat Party that now was all about gays in the military and abortion on demand,
Yep.
to Bill and Hillary Clinton.
Mm-hmm.
And she went, this is not what I signed up for. And
Yep.
she changed her party affiliation to Republican.
God bless her. Yeah.
Yeah. Because, and I've done several videos on my other channel, Still Not Canceled, where you see James Carville losing his you-know-what because they're upset that they invited these plucky young activists into under their big tent thinking that they could control them. And now what's happened is they've taken control of the party. And like you said, in New York City, that district in New York City was it was a clean sweep. All Democratic socialists took those Democratic primaries, and those people are going to Congress because Republicans do not get elected in those districts. So we're going to have communists, more communists, because we've already got the squad, so they're going to be adding to those numbers. And you're absolutely right. It's the very far leftist progressive Democrats that are basically communist have taken over the Democrat Party. That's just what's happening. And they're saying, well, we're going to use it as a talking point. Republicans are going to use it as a talking point. Okay, but it's not untrue. Let's just be honest with yourselves about what's happening. So like you said, we need a strong response through the Republican Party of populist, grassroots, principled conservatives like yourself.
Absolutely. And I think we have to get out of our comfort zone.
Yes, sir.
And do these things. I remember the first protest I ever went to and had to hold a sign up, and it said, with guns, we are citizens. Without them, we are slaves.
That's right.
And that was in Albany, fighting Andrew Cuomo's SAFE Act. Why do they always come up with these names that don't have anything to do with what the bill is?
Well, because they know people won't read the bill.
Yeah.
And so they put a great title on it that makes everybody think they know what it is when they don't even read the language. They don't know. That's why they treat everybody like sheep, like they're dumb. And unfortunately, a lot of people just don't do their due diligence because they don't think it's going to affect their everyday lives. But what the problem is that by the time it starts affecting their everyday lives, it's way too late to do anything about it. And
I don't mean to be doom and gloom here either. Tennessee is a great state. We have great opportunity.
Yes.
More states could be like us.
Yes.
Rather than us be like other states.
Other states. No. And it's not doom and gloom. I absolutely believe. Here's the deal. We do have a supermajority. We have 75 guys up there with an R after their name. We just have to remind them who they work for. Yes. And that's the problem, is they have forgotten that. So it's a much easier lift. I know it doesn't seem like it.
It's very tough with all this dark money floating around.
It's an easier lift though than the situations that you have in places like California or New York State, where there is such a proliferation of Democrat legislators in their state governments that if you're a Republican in those state governments, you don't get anything passed unless you bend over. And I mean, that's it. So we've seen that approach even up here where they soften those bills to get them passed, and that we don't have to do that. We don't have to do that. We have a supermajority. The Democrats don't even have to show up, and the Republicans can do whatever they want.
But they don't.
But they don't. So I think it's great that it's a great reminder, this interview with you and with Chris, and I'm going to interview Cindy as well, that we have principled conservatives sitting at the top of our party in our state to help remind legislators or people who want to run for these seats, here's our expectation of you. Here are our values. We fully
if I could just say on that one, the 2016 Republican National Platform was one of the best documents ever.
Yeah.
This time, and it passed in 2020. It was the same.
Yeah.
But this last one go around, it changed quite a bit.
Yeah.
It was shortened, maybe 30, maybe 66 pages was too long, but it was shortened. But some things got left out. Yeah. Well, they thought it necessary to come up with a statement of values.
Your camera. I don't see you anymore.
I don't know what happened. Do you hear me?
I do hear you.
Okay. Well, I'm not that good looking. So,
We'll
but
just,
but they thought it was important to come out with a statement of values.
Yeah.
And that's on the website. I hope
Yeah.
people will take a look at that, because those are the statement of values that we believe. And
Yeah.
that's one of the things that the SEC did put together.
That's great. That's great. Well, thank you so much, Brad, for being with me today. I think that you've given people a lot of information about you, about your platform, about why it's important to, oh, no, there you are. Yay. About your platform, about why it's important to re-elect you, to remain in that seat so that we can be comforted by the fact that we have somebody who we know shares our values that will help to shape the party as it moves forward, as we head into 26, well, we are in 26, but as we head into the 2028 elections, when we will be electing a new president. So it's very important. So
yeah, very important.
Yes. Thank you so much, Brad.
Brand.
I appreciate you so much.
Thank you, Kelly.
Thank you, everybody, for being with us today. Again, I would encourage you to go to truthwirenews.com. Subscribe. The cost of admission is just your email address. And there's like 270 articles in there for you to enjoy so that you can understand exactly what we're dealing with here in Tennessee.
Do it today.
That's right. And then go to my YouTube channel and subscribe to that, because I will be doing a series of these candidate interviews. And so that way you can stay tuned and stay informed. And then that way, when you go vote, you know what you're doing. So, and go vote. Make sure you go vote. So, okay, everybody. Thanks again. I love you all, and I will see you on the next one. Bye-bye.